We're counting down the top 5 redesigns in Wuthering Waves, the latest multi-platform open-world game currently in development by Kuro Game. In 2022, Kuro Game released a technical test to a limited audience. In it, every female character had a very similar body. Big head, tiny shoulders, huge bust. The exaggerated look didn't go down too well with fans of Kuro's other title, Punishing Grey Raven. While PGR also has a highly stylized anime look, the characters are a bit taller and more varied, making them appear older and better suited to a grittier setting. In contrast, these character designs seem to fit the more bubbly atmosphere of Genshin Impact rather than the dark atmosphere of either PGR or Wuthering Waves. The tech test models also had a serious case of same-face syndrome, with fans pointing out that all the women had the face of Liv Imperia from PGR. I mean, look at them, it's true. What might come as a surprise is that the devs actually listened and did something about it. Coming in at number 5, we have Yangyang, the game's mascot and your companion in Wuthering Waves. Unfortunately, she had a serious case of bobblehead. There was a star tattoo on her forehead, but you can barely tell because of how much it blended in with her hair. It was there on her chest too, but I'm sure you already noticed that. Speaking of which, those bandages were not behaving normally. There's a good character design in there somewhere, but it's being held back by childlike proportions and some half-baked ideas. Let's put her back in the oven for a bit. Look at her now. Her head size is smaller, the star tattoos are gone, and the confusing painted bandage situation is no more. Attention has been taken away from her bust thanks to her wider shoulders and midsection and the lack of a tattoo. In place of the star, there's a new recurring design, a mark that looks like a waveform. Not only is this a much subtler, cooler design, but it also ties in with the game's title and the music theme throughout. A nice touch is that this mark glows in certain circumstances, such as when a character activates their Resonance Liberation, the name given to their ultimate skill. Bailian's design in the tech test screamed, "This is the elegant, beautiful woman archetype," but she ended up feeling a little plain. With black hair, a black and white outfit, and dark eyes, she really struggled to stand out against the crowd of other black and white outfits. Her face was vacant, and the strange proportions were at odds with the adult look that was intended for her. A star tattoo could be found on Bailian's hand, but that is no more. Bailian was crying out for a splash of color, and her redesign delivered. Her hair is now dark green with lighter highlights in the front, and as her hair is so long and intricate, this really makes her feel alive against her still monochromatic clothes. Red paints her lips, complementing her red eyeshadow. The expression she wears is more severe, and she exudes this aura of confidence and elegance that was once missing. Now her waveform mark is on her upper thigh, and you definitely won't miss it during her Resonance Liberation. Number 3. The Rover. Much like Genshin Impact, Wuthering Waves prompts you to choose either a male or female protagonist in the beginning. As a 2-for-1 deal, we'll be covering both the male and female Rover redesigns. Oh, look at that little face. He's such a little guy. The male Rover in the tech test looks like I might find him chewing on a sock behind the couch. Bad Rover. All the aforementioned faux pas are here. Fluffy oversized head, narrow shoulders, and an oddly short torso. While he didn't suffer from Imperia face, he did have an empty gaze like he was waiting for the bus to pick him up after school. Interestingly enough, we couldn't find any sign of a black star tattoo on him. Maybe it was supposed to be under his jacket? Let us know in the comments if you know where it's hiding. All that said, he had a pretty solid design and earned some instant fans upon his debut, so it's no surprise that his subsequent changes were fairly minimal. Look at that! This boy has grown up. He's taller, broader, and even standing with more confidence. His expression is sharper and his unruly bedhead has been smoothed down. Instead of serving socks, he's serving looks. No longer do we wonder if he has a mark like the other characters. The waveform can be seen on the back of his right hand, just like the female Rover. We're glad to see he kept his set of ponytails in the back. The male Rover is here to prove men can have twin tails too. The female Rover. Another victim of Imperia face. She had this incredibly floofy hair that only emphasized her giant head. On her right shoulder blade, she had that star tattoo, and combined with all the straps and dangly bits around her back, she felt very cluttered. On the subject of dangly bits, are these things even attached to her hair? I think they're coming out of the back of her neck. I'm pretty sure she had short hair. Were they clip-ons? Compared to the male Rover, she looks distinctly juvenile and out of place owing to his slightly better proportions. Then there were these random ancient Egyptian hair clasps that she had going on. Why were they there? Clearly nobody could answer that question because they're not there anymore. Imperia face is gone and Serious face is in. The female Rover now sports a slick, asymmetrical haircut and a subtle white undercut that looks a bit familiar. More on that later. The two-tone colors work well here and make her stand out without being too Yu-Gi-Oh! Protagonist, so it was a great choice. From the back, she now has just one ponytail that seems to actually be attached to her hair. The star on her shoulder is gone and instead the waveform mark has moved to her hand to match the placement on her male counterpart. Much better. Her clothing is mostly unchanged, but she's now equipped with a white undershirt that should provide some much-needed support when she's doing her flashy aerial dodges. Also, she lost the armpit bag. Everyone liked that. Chixia. She was cute, but that's kind of all she was, right? She had that star tattoo on her upper arm, but that's about it. She's giggly and smiley, but somehow was still cursed with the melancholy soft eyes of Liv Imperia. As a whole, Chixia's design has the general silhouette of a summer school uniform, a similarity only strengthened by her pleated skirt and knee-high socks, plus some other design options that are just confusing. What are these belts for? Why does she need ski goggles? As a result, her design feels lazy and cliche, like she came off a stock website for 3D anime assets. Her worst feature was definitely her Resonance Liberation move. The camera zoomed right into her chest, then quickly panned up as if to say, "My eyes are up here." She was completely forgettable, looking like a discount female Rover. Maybe Kuro agreed because her white undercut is the only thing that was preserved when it was migrated onto the female Rover in the closed beta. Kuro said f*** it and started over from scratch. Chixia is no longer doomed to fade into the shadows of a cast lineup. Where do we even begin? First, her face. No more sad eyes, and instead she has a bright expression that's as spunky as her movements. Chixia doesn't need to be wearing a summer school uniform to be the sporty girl, and instead dons a makeshift attire made from whatever clothes she could get her hands on. The monochromatic blacks and whites have been spiced up with red and blue accents, and the waveform mark cuts across her midriff like a battle scar. Her look is chaotic, but stylish, much like she is. We're especially impressed with her unusual haircut, which she's just barely keeping under control with a side braid and bow to keep it out of her eyes. It's odd, but it has a memorable practicality to it that suits her well. Chixia's haircut got so much love that it even got an explanation about how it works. Finally, our number one choice for the best redesign in Wuthering Waves is Jueyuan. Gonna be really blunt with this one, her design was a disaster. This character is supposed to have nature-based powers, but her outfit made her look like she was wearing a cheap astronaut Halloween costume. Who dressed this kid up and what were they thinking? Why wasn't her suit zipped up? Why was her midriff weirdly detailed? Why didn't her goggles fit her face properly? Each part of this design felt out of place, from her enormous messy hair down to that tattoo on her thigh. The flowers in her hood were fun, but not enough to save this bland, awkward mess of an outfit. She just doesn't fit in, so it's time to put that spacesuit to use and vote the design out. Jueyuan's design has changed so much that she's almost unrecognizable. She's traded her conspicuously open spacesuit for an elegant Hanfu-inspired dress, bursting with color. The strange leotard shorts combo is gone, and now she's sporting modern shorts to support all the kicks and twirls she'll be doing. She still has some kind of goggles, but thanks to her adjusted proportions, they look like they'll fit over her eyes now. The out-of-place messy hair has been swapped out for an intricate, almost elven hairstyle that fades to green on the ends. Goodbye oversized collar, her waveform mark can be found right beneath her collarbone. She's gone from the world's worst astronaut to a little flower fairy. We consider this to be the best redesign because we felt her old design was so hideous and out of place it was holding the game back. The updated look not only raises the quality of the cast, but it also shows how much Kuro Game values player feedback and their passion for Wuthering Waves. Character design is what initially drew us to Punishing Grey Raven, and the major redesigns in Wuthering Waves have bolstered our excitement for what's to come. You'll need to know what Kuro Game has made in the past to understand their design philosophies, and that's why you'll need to watch this video.